Everyone is talking about how staged this fight was. I do believe it was scripted. What? And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. What? Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it.
Well, I don't see too many people critical about it. Look at this. Ha 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 ha.
I think maybe even the top, maybe probably the top ones I've seen, because you got to think about it. What he basically did is he allowed Mike Tyson to be exposed to the social media frenzy that's going on.
Mike Tyson has firmly denied allegations that his fight with Jake Paul was scripted, calling the accusations disrespectful and insulting to both him and his fans. The boxing legend emphasized his lifelong dedication to the sport, stating his return to the ring was fueled by love for boxing, not monetary or promotional motives. Tyson dismissed claims of a prearranged bout, asserting that every punch and moment in the match was authentic. He acknowledged skepticism, but highlighted the intense preparation he underwent, particularly considering his age and the challenge of fighting a younger opponent. Addressing a viral clip where Jake Paul said, "I got your money," Tyson clarified it was related to business dealings, not evidence of collusion. He criticized those twisting the interaction out of context, stating it undermines the unpredictability and hard work central to boxing. Tyson defended Jake Paul as a young fighter carving out a career.
We, yourself, me, Mike, we came along before that social media frenzy took place, right? Now that it has happened, most of us feel like we missed it. But Netflix just blessed Mike Tyson to be able to come back by way of Jake Paul and experience and get some of the fruit of this social media frenzy. And that was a beautiful thing to me, because had it not been for that, Mike would have been just like us. We just missed it and had to keep going.
But subtly questioned the rise of celebrity boxing. He emphasized that the sport's charm lies in its unpredictability and the genuine effort fighters bring to the ring. Despite the controversy, Tyson maintained that his commitment to boxing remains unwavering and expressed frustration over narratives that attempt to discredit the authenticity of his performance. Despite the mounting pressure and accusations, Mike Tyson stood firm, insisting that his fight with Jake Paul was genuine and voicing disappointment over what he saw as attempts to tarnish his legacy. Reflecting on his return to the ring, Tyson acknowledged the physical and mental challenges he overcame, emphasizing his motivation to inspire his children and fans by proving that age should not be a limitation. While hinting this might be his final fight, Tyson expressed pride in his performance, regardless of the outcome. Addressing the lawsuit and backlash, Tyson described the experience as both challenging and disappointing, but expressed confidence in his ability to endure, citing his resilience in overcoming greater hardships throughout his life. He called for perspective, urging fans and critics to focus on his broader contributions to boxing. Tyson reiterated that he has always given his all to the sport, and expressed hope that his legacy would reflect his lifelong dedication and passion for boxing. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, pushed back against claims that the fight was rigged. MVP described such allegations as naive and insulting, emphasizing that both fighters gave their full effort in the match. They underscored the unpredictability and dedication that define boxing, affirming that the bout was an authentic and hard-fought contest. Oscar De La Hoya has weighed in on the controversy surrounding the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, claiming it was scripted and accusing Paul of orchestrating a paid outcome. According to De La Hoya, the fight
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was by its nature a horrible fight, right from the start. It was just awful. Mike almost fell down during his walkout. And he was on quicksand since the first 10 seconds of the fight. Oh, and did you see that 58-year-old ass? It was wishful thinking for all those idiots who thought they were going to get Mike Tyson of the 90s come out and rip somebody.
Lacked authenticity, and the dynamics of the match seemed unnatural, raising serious questions about its legitimacy. He suggested that Paul's team strategically positioned the bout as a spectacle rather than a genuine competition, undermining the integrity of boxing. De La Hoya reportedly pointed to moments in the fight where Tyson appeared to hold back, describing them as unusual given his ferocious reputation. He argued that the controlled pace and lack of decisive action from both fighters suggested prearranged choreography rather than spontaneous athleticism. For De La
I can see it. It goes on the record, and it was sanctioned. What? So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record? Bruh. For what? For your own personal satisfaction? Bruh. I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, like you say you want to be, what are you doing?
Shit, I don't even know.
Like, who's next? Joe Biden?
Hoyer. These elements made the match feel more like entertainment than a legitimate sporting event. Additionally, he alleged that Paul may have paid Tyson not only to participate, but potentially to accept defeat as part of a broader strategy to enhance
To fight real fighters.
God, please, no!
However, the fight drew 65 million households, which means roughly 200 million eyeballs were watching. And the huge winners were Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, who put on an incredible real fight.
Paul's profile as a credible boxer. De La Hoya speculated that Paul's team understood the value of a victory over a legendary figure like Tyson, even under controversial circumstances, and exploited it to further Paul's career in the sport. De La Hoya also criticized the growing trend of celebrity boxing matches, arguing that they detract from the sport's core values. He claimed that fighters like Paul capitalize on their fame to stage matches that prioritize profit over genuine competition, casting a shadow on the efforts of professional boxers striving for legitimate recognition. For De La Hoya, such events compromise the authenticity and spirit of boxing, shifting the focus away from athletic skill and dedication. Oscar De La Hoya's remarks have intensified the debates surrounding the authenticity of Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson. While De La Hoya has called for greater scrutiny to preserve the sport's credibility, Paul's team has consistently denied any allegations of scripting. The fight has divided public opinion, with critics like De La Hoya emphasizing the need to protect boxing's integrity. The match marked Tyson's first bout since his 2005 loss to Kevin McBride, but was overshadowed by Paul's controversial victory, which brought his professional record to 11-1. Paul has since been embroiled in online exchanges with various fighters as he prepares for his next challenge. However, neither he nor Tyson is expected to return to the ring soon due to mandatory suspensions imposed by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, TDLR. According to TDLR guidelines, fighters must rest 3 days for every round fought. Since Paul and Tyson went the full 8 rounds, both received 24-day medical suspensions, the shortest period allowed. MMA Junkie obtained the event's suspension list, confirming the timeline. Fighters can challenge medical suspensions by requesting a hearing, where they must demonstrate their fitness to compete. TDLR regulations state that medical disqualifications or suspensions are implemented for fighters' safety, often based on recommendations from examining physicians or department officials. If a contestant disagrees with a decision, they may present evidence during a hearing to appeal the ruling. This process ensures compliance with safety protocols while allowing fighters the opportunity to prove they are physically ready to resume competition. Jake Paul's victory over Mike Tyson has continued to draw criticism, with some speculating that Tyson pulled his punches and that the bout was rigged to favor the 27-year-old. Paul and his team have strongly denied these allegations, though Paul admitted he chose not to knock Tyson out, claiming he didn't want to harm him. Speaking on the Impulsive podcast, Paul defended his performance, saying, "You don't realize my power, my speed, my agility, and my footwork to get out of the way of those punches." He added, "All of a sudden, he's throwing at air. He can't land those punches on me." Tyson, in his only official comment after the fight, stated that although he lost, he still felt victorious after overcoming a significant health scare earlier in the year. Back in June, Tyson nearly passed away due to complications from an ulcer flare-up. Despite the loss, Tyson expressed no regrets about returning to the ring one final time. Meanwhile, Jake Paul recently shared a private message from Daniel Dubois proposing a fight for the IBF heavyweight title, which Dubois retained with a knockout victory over Anthony Joshua this past September. At 27, Paul appears eager to challenge a reigning heavyweight champion in his next bout. However, former WBC cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew warned against this move, calling it a significant misstep. Bell, who retired following his 2018 knockout loss to Alexander Usyk, remains an influential voice in boxing. While Bellew has frequently criticized Paul's choice of opponents, he believes facing Dubois would be unwise. Speaking to Dubois, Bellew remarked, "Dubois is on another level, and Paul isn't ready."
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him?
For that kind of challenge, it's a recipe for disaster. Tony Bellew didn't hold back in his criticism of Jake Paul's ambitions, calling them unrealistic and mocking his consideration of fighting top heavyweights like Daniel Dubois. "Great imagination, but I don't know what planet he's on. He's got to be on Mars or somewhere to even think about something like that," Bellew said. "It couldn't be sanctioned anyway. We saw an old Mike Tyson on Friday night and I was heartbroken to watch it. Dubois is on a whole new level, one of the best heavyweights in the world. He'd knock Jake Paul out with a jab. Believe you me, I'm not messing. It would just be an embarrassment." Bellew also poked fun at Paul's reputation during fight week. The 41-year-old Englishman made an unexpected appearance at a pre-fight press conference just 2 days before the heavily debated Tyson-Paul.
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough for you to
would you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that.
Bout. Playing on the joke that Paul targets senior citizens in his fights, Bellew escalated the gag by bringing a frail elderly man to the event and suggesting him as Paul's next opponent. Tony Bellew continued mocking Jake Paul during fight week, taking his senior citizen joke to the extreme at the pre-fight press conference. "If Mike lets him survive, I've got a great-grandfather, not a grandfather. This guy's got 2 new hips, he's 107 years old, and he's ready for you. Give this fellow a chance. Come on, Jake." Bellew quipped. However, his humor initially fell flat due to migrant...
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Grandfather due to his migrant queue, leading to host Ariel Helwani. Bellew and his elderly companion were quickly escorted from the venue, but not before the stunt went viral online. The incident seemed to provoke Paul, fueling speculation that his next opponent might be much younger to avoid further ridicule. Meanwhile, the controversy around Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson deepened when Gervonta "Tank" Davis entered the fray, accusing Paul of staging the bout. Davis didn't hold back, sharply criticizing Paul for tarnishing the sport's integrity with what he called a choreographed spectacle. The drama added fuel to an already divisive debate over Paul's impact on boxing. Fans of boxing, already skeptical about the legitimacy of Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson, seized on Gervonta "Tank" Davis's remarks as a call for greater accountability in the sport. Davis's criticism of the bout as staged fueled public frustration with Paul's habit of facing older or less formidable opponents. This growing discontent quickly became a focal point of the debate, with fans calling for Paul to prove himself against a legitimate, active fighter like Davis. The idea of a showdown between Davis and Paul has gained traction due to their shared age and competitive standing. As a prime fighter in the midst of a successful career, Davis represents the kind of opponent many believe Paul must face to earn credibility in the boxing world. Critics argue that such a matchup would be fair and provide Paul with a genuine opportunity to establish himself as a legitimate athlete. Davis's frustration highlights the stark contrast between the two, a seasoned athlete with a legacy to protect versus a social media personality, often accused of turning boxing into entertainment rather than sport. The fallout from the Tyson-Paul bout has cast a shadow over both boxing and Paul's reputation. Allegations of a scripted outcome.
Looking like a killer, hitting the out of the mitts, the top 5 comments are, if Jake wins this fight, it's completely rigged. And that used to bother me.
Right.
That used to bother me because I was like, no, I'm working so hard. Can't you f***ing people see? But now I take it as a compliment because the human peon brain of the 99% can't even comprehend
Can't even get it.
how good I've gotten and what I'm accomplishing in this.
Coupled with widespread criticism, have sparked serious debates about the future of boxing and the increasing dominance of celebrity-driven matchups. For purists, the fight marked a troubling moment that many believe damaged the sport's credibility. While Paul has built a lucrative career leveraging his massive social media presence, the backlash from the Tyson fight underscores the drawbacks of his approach. Detractors argue that Paul's focus on spectacle and controversy undermines his legitimacy as a serious contender, leaving his boxing future uncertain. Many fans believed the bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was manufactured, feeling that Tyson, a revered figure in boxing history, had compromised his legacy for financial gain. This sentiment was widely shared, with one tweet summarizing the disappointment. Tyson's career had been defined by his ferocity and dominance, and many felt this fight undermined those accomplishments. Adding to the controversy, Paul made a cryptic remark during a media appearance when questioned about his confidence in defeating Tyson. Challenged on his bold claim of knocking out the former champion, Paul replied enigmatically, "It's already written."
He's one of the most delusional people in the world, so I wouldn't be surprised if all this stuff is real. And then Jake Paul gonna say he'll be down to fight Gervonta Davis next after Tank said he would beat the brakes off.
The comment quickly went viral, with fans interpreting it as an implicit admission that the fight's outcome had been predetermined. The phrase "it's already written" sparked widespread speculation and became a rallying point for skeptics questioning the legitimacy of the match. Fans analyzed its significance, linking it to rumors of a fixed fight. Paul's vague statement didn't just fuel doubts about the Tyson bout, it also intensified scrutiny of his entire boxing strategy. Critics argued that his comment cast further doubt on his matches and trustworthiness, amplifying concerns about the integrity of his matches. Critics quickly pounced on Jake Paul's selective matchmaking, highlighting his tendency to face opponents who were either well past their prime, like retired MMA fighters, or lacked significant boxing experience. Many saw this as a strategy to pad his record without taking on real challenges, raising doubts about the authenticity of his boxing career. For traditional boxing fans, Paul's rise symbolized a troubling shift in the sport, where spectacle increasingly overshadowed genuine competition. While celebrity boxing brought in fresh mainstream audiences, it posed a threat to the sport's loyal base, who valued tradition, skill, and authenticity. Paul's focus on flashy stunts and social media influence stood in stark contrast to the legacies of boxing icons who earned their reputations through relentless training.
Tank versus Jake Paul. I'm calling it now. I need Tank to knock him out. He's already calling him a bozo for not knocking Mike Tyson out and sharing the ring with him. Jake Paul was calling out Canelo. I would love to see Canelo knock him out too. All I'm saying is we need to not let Jake Paul run and fight another old boxer. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to pull out Roy Jones or nobody else. You know, don't try to fight Floyd Mayweather. No, you need to fight a real boxer this time. A real boxer in their prime like Jake Paul is in his prime. And no disrespect to Jake Paul, this is my first time actually watching him fight, but he is a big draw. People are
and fierce battles with elite opponents. The ongoing debate about Paul highlighted a growing divide in boxing, urging the sport to balance its time-honored principles with the rising popularity of celebrity-driven storylines. This tension sparked important discussions on how boxing can evolve while preserving its core values. As fans analyzed key moments of the fight, the idea that Mike Tyson had agreed to throw the match to boost Jake Paul's image gained traction. Detractors pointed to Tyson's seeming passivity and willingness to let Paul control the tempo, interpreting these actions as evidence of a scripted result. A tweet from Kitty Gia perfectly captured the sentiments of many viewers who felt the bout had devolved into a publicity stunt rather than a genuine athletic competition. Amid the controversy surrounding the Tyson fight, speculation grew about a potential showdown between Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. When asked about the possibility, Jake Paul's manager added fuel to the fire with the
In this video, I'm going to let you know whether the actual fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was fixed and why it was fixed. Listen, understand it was a big nostalgia hit. It got our attention. It was a big financial promotion for everybody, and it actually worked. Now, the fight was absolutely terrible, and it feels like Paul was holding back his punches, and at times Mike Tyson was holding back punches. If these guys went full out on each other, right, it would look bad on Jake Paul for knocking out a guy that's twice his age, right? And it would look bad on Mike Tyson if he got
negative statement, "Davis needs Jake." The comment quickly sparked backlash from both fans and analysts, who were quick to point out that Davis, a highly accomplished professional boxer, had no reason to prove himself against Paul, whose boxing credentials were still under scrutiny. The remark appeared to downplay Davis's attraction. This perspective fueled further backlash, with critics arguing that it minimized the value of legitimate fighters in favor of celebrity-driven matchups. Davis's supporters argued that Jake Paul needed to face credible opponents like Davis to establish his legitimacy in the boxing world. Many believed that the manager's statement, "Davis needs Jake," was a calculated attempt to shift attention away from the growing controversy surrounding the Tyson fight, redirecting the focus to a potential high-profile showdown with Davis. As criticism of the Tyson-Paul bout mounted, the conversation increasingly turned to a potential matchup between Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Fans voiced strong
legacy. Not only that, if Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul and knocked him out, it would ruin the legacy that Paul wants to leave as he continues to fight. He didn't want to tarnish that, losing to a guy who's twice his age. So we'll look back either way. So to answer your question, 100% this was fixed. They sat it out and talked about it. It went to decision because that was a neutral way to end it, and it went the full 8 rounds to keep people entertained. They didn't want it to end quickly. 100% it was fixed. It was smart on them. A big money grab. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Strong support for the fight, seeing it as an opportunity for Paul to elevate his standing by facing a legitimate, active fighter. This potential clash was viewed as a stark departure from the spectacle of the Tyson bout, providing a true test of Paul's boxing skills. The growing push for this fight reflected a desire to see Paul challenged by a prime, skilled fighter capable of testing his abilities. Davis's outspoken critique of Paul only fueled excitement, leaving fans eager to see how Paul would respond. The potential showdown underscored the rising tension between traditional boxing and the emerging trend of influencer-driven bouts, with some fans hoping to bridge these two worlds, while others saw it as a chance to expose Paul's limitations. After the fallout from the Tyson fight, Gervonta Davis wasted no time targeting Jake Paul, accusing him of tarnishing the integrity of boxing. Davis's outspoken challenge quickly gained traction, with fans eager to see Paul face a legitimate contender. The prospect of a showdown between Davis and Paul generated significant buzz, particularly due to their shared age and the glaring difference in their boxing records. While Paul had built his name by facing older or less experienced fighters, Davis's impressive track record demonstrated his expertise and commitment to the sport. Fans argued that a fight with Davis would be the ultimate test of Paul's boxing.
He doesn't care about legacy, which is an indication that he sold his soul. We know Netflix sat him down. Hey, we just got to make this look good. Hey, Mike, this is the new day and age. Think about the bag, think about the money. Let's not talk about the buffering fight that we had with Netflix last night, with all due respect. But I think Mike realized that signing a contract to do this and to script this fight was a big
abilities. Unlike Tyson, who was past his prime, Davis was a current formidable fighter known for taking on top-tier opponents. The idea of Paul facing a boxer of Davis's caliber sparked excitement, with fans eager to see if Paul could withstand the challenge of a true professional in the ring. The potential showdown would provide a much-needed opportunity.
Paul versus Mike Tyson was 100% scripted. Mike Tyson repeatedly bit his boxing glove throughout the fight. When fights are scripted, fighters do weird gestures to signal that they're hurt. It's very possible Mike Tyson was biting on his glove to tell Jake Paul to calm down. Now, if that's not enough proof that this fight was scripted, in the middle of the fight, Mike Tyson is literally talking to Jake Paul while they are clinching. And in the middle of the fight, the referee told Jake Paul to stop measuring. For those of you who don't know, in boxing,
opportunity for Paul to prove himself against a serious competitor. The controversy surrounding the Tyson-Paul fight deepened when Twitter user AAR Loon posted what he claimed was a leaked script of the bout. His tweet, which read, "The script below is going viral online under the title Leaked Script of Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul," fueled speculation that the fight's outcome may have been rigged. The supposed script detailed every round, including key moments where Tyson and Paul were to either appear in trouble or gain momentum. The script's remarkable accuracy led many to believe the fight was more staged than a legitimate contest. Fans and analysts quickly pored over the leaked document, comparing it to the actual events of the fight. Numerous observers pointed out eerie similarities between the predicted moments and what occurred in the ring, which further intensified suspicions that the match had been orchestrated. The backlash grew as viewers who had hoped for an authentic showdown felt deceived by the apparent manipulation of the event. Betrayed by what they now saw as a contrived spectacle, the leaked script became a key piece of evidence in the controversy, with critics using it to argue that the entire fight was merely a publicity stunt. This fueled broader concerns about the transparency and integrity of celebrity boxing. The script quickly became a focal point in the debate surrounding the Tyson-Paul fight, intensifying an already charged atmosphere. Critics seized upon it as undeniable proof that the match had been staged from the start, shattering any remaining trust in the event's legitimacy. For boxing enthusiasts who value the raw excitement and unpredictability of the sport, the idea of a scripted fight was a direct affront. It undermined the essence of competition, transforming what should have been a test of skill and stamina into little more than a rehearsed performance. The striking accuracy of the script only added to its incriminating nature. The striking resemblance between the alleged script and pivotal moments during the fight heightened suspicions, as critics pointed out how Tyson's lack of aggression and Paul's calculated maneuvers seemed to mirror the supposed directions from the script. This eerie parallel fueled the fury of viewers who felt deceived by a spectacle they had trusted to be authentic. The leak of the script not only tarnished the reputations of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but also sparked widespread calls for reform in the world of celebrity boxing. Fans voiced their concerns, demanding stronger regulation and transparency to preserve the sport's credibility. The uproar surrounding the Tyson vs. Paul bout began long before the opening bell, with Tyson's pre-fight interview adding to the drama. When he casually dismissed the notion of legacy, saying, "Legacy is nothing," the comment sent shockwaves through the boxing community. Tyson, once revered as one of the sport's greatest champions, seemed to dismiss the very thing that had shaped his career: unparalleled power and relentless dominance in the ring. His apparent disregard for legacy raised questions about his involvement in the fight, leading many to speculate that he had consented to a rigged contest for financial gain. Rumors of a $20 million payout for Tyson further fueled these doubts, prompting many to believe the fight was orchestrated for spectacle rather than sporting integrity. The notion that Tyson could sacrifice his legacy for money struck a chord with his followers, sparking disappointment and outrage. And the financial incentives surrounding Tyson's involvement in the fight presented a stark departure from the fighter who had once captivated fans with his unmatched ferocity in the ring. Tyson's legendary status had been built not only on his brutal power but also on his unapologetic authenticity. For many fans, seeing him reduced to what appeared to be a manufactured performance was a difficult pill to swallow. The letdown went beyond Tyson's tarnished legacy. It raised deeper concerns about the state of boxing itself. If someone as iconic as Tyson could be tied to allegations of a rigged fight, it cast a shadow of doubt over the integrity of major bouts, especially in the era of celebrity boxing. Observers noted that Tyson, known for his explosive knockout power and authority in the ring, seemed unusually cautious during the match. The theory that Tyson may have deliberately spared Paul only fueled suspicions that the fight was staged. These moments, coupled with the growing belief that the entire event was scripted, fostered an atmosphere of doubt that overshadowed any favorable aspects of the fight. For many, the fallout from the Tyson-Paul bout became emblematic of the troubling direction boxing was headed in, leaving fans questioning the authenticity of the sport itself. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more.